Hi, this is Masenya of Masenya Attorneys Incorporated, a law firm based in Centurion, Republic of South Africa. We boast 24 years of legal practice in the areas of commercial and tax laws. My professional team and I have over the years proved great success in assisting numerous clients with a myriad of commercial and tax matters involving millions of rands. We are skilled, experienced, qualified, and have the capacity to assist you. Email us at clients@cntlaw.co.za or call us 011-318-6592 or 084-383-7747. All consultations are strictly by appointment.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. Welcome to Solomon's Temple. I'm Uncle Solomon. Good to be with you this evening, Tuesday, the 13th of May. It's about 7:30 p.m. in Johannesburg, South Africa. Where are you watching from? Let me know where you're watching from and how you are doing. And if you haven't subscribed yet, may I encourage you to do so. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Solomon's Temple, where we get to look at the issues of faith, issues around the church, abuse in the church, and a whole lot of stuff so we can hold each other accountable. If you're interested in any sort of YouTube training to improve your viewership and also improve your subscribers, we offer YouTube training and mentorship. So reach out to us using the number on the screen. I see a few people here. Boyd, you're here. Great to have you here, Boyd, as usual. And good to have you here also all the way from Rustenburg, my brother there. Comfort from Jos. Oh, my hometown. Good to have you here. Awesome to have you here. And also great to have you, Nicholas. You're saying, watching you while waiting for my Uber order. Good to see you again from Pretoria East. Thank you, Nick. Awesome to have you here. Enjoy your Uber ride. So last year, there was a disengagement that happened, a major disengagement around the Nigerian church, which was a relationship that had been on for maybe 40 years between Bishop David Oyedepo and Bishop Abioye. So they were like Aaron and Moses, if you know what I'm saying. They started from Kaduna in northern Nigeria, build up Winners Chapel, that's a Living Faith Church. And they've been there for a while together, very familiar, very familiar. People are so familiar with them, in so many different ways. And they grew this ministry locally, internationally, to a certain level. But last year, at the age of 63, if I remember very well, Bishop Abioye was asked to retire, right? Not him alone. There was another bishop called Bishop Aremu. I think he was 67. From what I heard, it said that the retirement age was reviewed and it was brought down to 55, right? So he's 63. So he had to retire. So he retired, right? And it was a shocker for so many people. And he retired and then started some sort of a ministry. And then a few weeks ago, he started a church. Now, why would somebody who had been with a big ministry like Living Faith, Winners Chapel, after retirement, starts another church, and the church that's Living Faith, Winners Chapel, couldn't find a place for him to function even after that retirement? So it left a lot of people with questions. Was he pushed? Was he forced out? Or was he just fed up with that sort of life for 40 years? Now maybe he wanted to do something else, or maybe he was tired. He wanted to take a different direction with his life and ministry. I'm sharing this because this week I saw an article that was written by someone, I think it was on social media, just the fact that there were 3 trustees, on Living Faith Church's board of trustees. That was Bishop David Oyedepo, his wife, Faith Oyedepo, and Bishop Abioye. But in transition, they wanted somebody who would take over from Bishop David Oyedepo. And it seems like they didn't see Bishop Abioye as the right person. Remember, Bishop David Oyedepo is 7 years older than Bishop Abioye. And the questions that some people were asking also is, if Bishop David Oyedepo himself, as the president of Living Faith Church, Winners Chapel, because he's the president and Bishop Abioye was the vice president. But Bishop David Oyedepo was 70 last year, and Bishop Abioye was 63. So why didn't Bishop Oyedepo himself at 70 also retire? So this person was putting the point that it seems like his son, David Oyedepo Jr., is being groomed to come in on the board of trustees. That's why they had to force out Bishop Abioye, because the board of trustees is more or like they are the owner. They sort of like are the owners of, in a way, they run the show. The ownership, the responsibility is with them. So now they are saying the heir apparent to the empire, Living Faith, is David Oyedepo Jr., who is the son of David and Faith Oyedepo, and is being groomed and is going to be added to the board of trustees. Well, that's one part of the story, somebody's opinion. But you see, it leaves you with a whole lot of question marks around the disengagement of Bishop Abioye from Living Faith. There's a lot that we do not know. But sometimes we don't want to ask these hard questions. What really happened? Is Living Faith, now we're going to see a second generation Oyedepo running the church, heading the church? Or are we seeing a situation where it's become a business? So we need to protect it, protect the church and the universities and all the assets and the monies in the bank and the private jets that they have for the sake of the family. Or is just are we experiencing a generational change of leadership at Living Faith, aka Winners Chapel? We might not be privy to a lot of the a lot of the information in this sort of like what really happened, because if there's one set of people that are really secretive, they're Christian leaders. They will come to the pulpit, they would only tell you what they want you to know, not the truth or what you should know. And they cover up a whole lot of stuff. And then we get to hear it from somewhere else, or the media will pick it up, and then it gives us, or the church, like, you see, we told you, these guys, they're like a secret society. They're like a cult. But if we look very well, what happened between Bishop David Oyedepo and Bishop Abioye, something went wrong. Bishop Abioye is said to be a very good follower. So he's been following David Oyedepo for so many years. So I'm not sure he's the kind of person that will come out and say and talk about maybe what he perceived as injustices that was done to him, the way he was disengaged. Because you were disengaged at 63, now you started a church, right? If you just started a ministry, I would understand. Or like if you started maybe an NGO just to focus on leadership, teaching about leadership or teaching about, governance around the church, I totally understand. But to have another church, it seems like there was a fallout somewhere that we are not aware of. Maybe they paid him handsomely, he retired and he doesn't want to lose that. Or maybe he's just like, look, hey, for the sake of peace. Or maybe he felt, see, David Oyedepo is a very powerful and influential person, so I might as well just walk away quietly. But one day I'm sure we're going to hear more about that. Joe said all mega churches, all Pentecostal churches are gospel merchants. Not all of them. A lot of them, though. Yvonne A say people do not study the Bible. That's why. That's correct. People, we need to spend time studying scriptures. There are certain people, I was telling somebody yesterday, there are certain people that when I meet them, I can basically smell corruption around them. Not because, let's not even spiritualize it. You just need to meet them and hear them for a bit, and then you can sense that, because you filter everything through scriptures. What we hear from our spiritual leaders on Sundays, we filter it through scriptures. What we hear from politicians, we must filter it through scriptures. What we hear from celebrities, the music we listen to, what we read on social media, the kind of movies we watch, we must filter it through scriptures. Because if we don't, we're just only going to become